Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin, wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, dengan taufik dan hidayah daripada Allah Subhanahu wa taala, kita dapat memberi sedikit keterangan tentang positive Islamic psychology dan bagaimana kita nak hidup di alaf ke-21 ini dengan cara yang terbaik. Jadi kita ada program latihan free life coach training program di mana kita memberi latihan dari segi Islamic motivation, Islamic coaching, Islamic mentoring dan Islamic counselling, dan anda boleh dapat sertifikat daripada kami Positive Islamic Psychology Center dan Yayasan Pendidikan Khalifah. Hanya layari 30 video, buat summary dan buat satu praktikum dan akan dapat, dan insyaAllah kita akan latih 12,000 over the next 10 tahun 12,000. So kita banyak buat research dari segi psychology research, dan layarilah Islamic-ClimateActionNetwork, dan kita ada banyak area of research tetapi tumpuan kita yang paling penting sekarang ialah positive Islamic psychology research yang melibatkan climate change, dan kita perlu ada satu movement bersama, iaitu Islamic Climate Action Network, ICAN. InsyaAllah kita ICAN sebab saya guna akronim ICAN, sebab masalah eksistensial kehidupan manusia dan tamadun manusia ke abad 21 ini mungkin akan pupus kalau kita tidak mengambil iktibar daripada sivilisasi atau tamadun-tamadun yang dahulu yang sudah pupus dan tidak wujud lagi, hanya tinggal kesan-kesan sahaja. Jadi apa yang sekarang menggerunkan ramai saintis di seluruh dunia ialah realitinya climate change, perubahan iklim yang akan mungkin menghancurkan tamadun manusia dalam masa 50 ke 30 tahun, 30 ke 50 tahun sahaja, tak lama. Kalau kita terus menerus menjalankan dan merosakkan alam sekitar kita, ekologi dunia kita dengan fossil fuel dan carbon dioxide, methane dan sebagainya. Jadi kita perlu lihat dari segi bagaimana kita nak memperbaiki diri kita sebagai khalifah Allah di muka bumi ini, keluarga kita, ummah dan masyarakat kita dan global, untuk menyelamatkan diri kita, keluarga kita dan masyarakat kita daripada satu katastrofi, satu kehancuran yang begitu ketara kalau kita tidak melakukan sesuatu dalam masa 10 tahun sahaja. International Panel of Climate Change Scientists, lebih pada 25,000 mereka telah memberi amaran demi amaran, dan amaran ini sudah orang kata sudah sampai ke tahap yang sangat kritikal. We have no more time left. If we do business as usual, we will destroy Earth. Itu amaran mereka secara umumnya. Sebab itu think tank daripada Australia, Breakthrough National Center for Climate Restoration, mengeluarkan research yang terbaru, A World of Outright Chaos on the Path to the End of Human Civilization and Modern Society as We Know, within 30 years. Kalau kita tak melakukannya dalam 30 tahun, tamadun yang kita ketahui, diri kita, keluarga kita, anak cucu kita mungkin akan kebuluran, dan wallahu alam, sama ada dunia ini wujud dengan manusia atau tidak. Yang mungkin yang kekal hanya lipas atau bakteria, mikrob dan sebagainya. Tetapi sebagai mammalian species seperti manusia dan orangutan dan sebagainya mungkin akan pupus. So apa yang perlu kita lakukan ialah kita mesti memahami bahawa ini amaran terakhir, supaya kita sama-sama menggerakkan semua idea-idea yang kita ada dan menggerakkan semua aspek kehidupan kita, mengalih daripada hidup berasaskan fossil fuel, iaitu tamadun ini berasaskan pembakaran minyak, gas, arang batu yang mengeluarkan CO2, carbon dioksida, dan ia meningkat. Bila ia meningkat, dia akan mengubah cuaca dunia ini, dan pada tahap ini sudah sampai CO2 level itu sudah melebihi 415 ppm dalam masa yang sangat singkat. Dan kajian daripada trending atau modeling menunjukkan kita akan menghadapi peningkatan suhu 2 darjah Celsius. Dengan 2 darjah Celsius, kita akan menghadapi banyak masalah-masalah yang sangat besar, iaitu Antartika dan Arktik akan mula hilang saljinya. all the snow will be gone, dan di situ ada release methane hydrate dan release daripada permafrost akan meningkatkan kepada 4 darjah Celsius. Kalau 4 darjah Celsius, manusia dah tak boleh wujud lagi. So inilah yang sangat menggeronkan, yang kita perlu fikir dan bagaimana kita nak mengatasinya. Sebab itu semua saintis-saintis sudah mula sepakat, dan apa yang penting ialah kita sama-sama sepakat dengan mereka mengambil countermeasure untuk mengubah daripada carbon fossil fuel industri abad ke-21 kepada carbon neutral dan carbon negatif yang boleh. Teknologi ini sudah wujud, cuma kita mesti mengatasi dari segi human greed. Kita ingin tak jadi kaya, tetapi dalam keadaan itu bilioner dan syarikat-syarikat minyak, oil and gas ini semua, mereka jadi kaya, tetapi dengan harga kehancuran tamadun manusia, itu sesuatu yang sangat bodoh. So kita kena fahami dari segi saintifik, dan insya-Allah janganlah kita nanti menjadi relik di dalam bila kita sudah hancur baru kita nak sedar. So apa yang penting ialah kita perlu faham beberapa aspeknya, dan kita akan menunjukkan daripada United Planet Faith and Science. Mereka ada YouTube, UPFSI dan Scientific Warning TV, boleh layari banyak video-video mereka. Alright, yang saya nak bincang sekarang ialah Stresor ekologi, ecological stresses yang kita semua lakukan sebagai manusia selagi kita hidup di dunia ini. Kita menyebabkan sesuatu anjakan yang tidak seimbang kepada ekologi dan cuaca ataupun iklim dunia. So dia ada 10 perkara yang kita boleh fikirkan. Satu, biodiversity loss, kehilangan keanekaragaman kehidupan dunia, sama ada kehidupan dari segi mammal ke, mamalia ke, insek, mikrob, semuanya menyebabkan sesuatu ketidakseimbangan yang akan boleh merosakkan ekologi dunia. Yang kedua, sistem pangan atau sistem pemakanan kita yang makin lama makin tidak terombang-ambing, dan kita tidak mempunyai reserve makanan. Kalau umpamanya tahun ini atau tahun depan keluaran hasil gandum ataupun corn dan sebagainya, potato dan sebagainya merosot, mungkin puluhan juta manusia akan mati kebuluran dalam masa yang terdekat ini, 2-3 tahun sahaja. Fresh water scarcity atau air minuman, manusia perlu air tawar untuk minum, itu pun sudah mula pupus sebab kita terlalu menggunakannya dengan tidak begitu hemah. Marine life depletion, iaitu penipasan kehidupan laut. Semua kehidupan jenis kehidupan laut sudah mula merosot sehingga kadar 70% sebab kita overfishing. Kita dengan rakus mengambil hasil laut, ambil tanpa memberi mereka peluang untuk reproduksi. Ocean pollution, banyak kawasan laut samudera kita sudah rosak disebabkan oleh plastik, macam-macam kimia dari segi runoff daripada agriculture, especially nitrogen dan sebagainya. Kita sudah menghadapi kehancuran hutan belantara kita. Mungkin bila suhu meningkat, semua hutan belantara di tropika, termasuk di Amazon, di Indonesia, di Malaysia, di Vietnam, semua akan mula terbakar. Air toxification, udara pun sudah tercemar, sangat tercemar. Soil degradation, population growth dan climate change yang kita katakan, akhirnya yang akan memakan diri kita. So saya akan menunjukkan video daripada Scientist Warning TV, dan sama-sama kita peka dan faham kritikalnya kita sama-sama mengubah diri kita sebagai umat Islam, sebagai khalifah Allah di muka bumi ini, memperbaiki diri kita, keluarga kita dan masyarakat kita, supaya kita sama-sama berjuang jihad untuk memperbetulkan ketidakseimbangan ekologi dunia dan perubahan iklim yang menjahanamkan. Kalau kita tidak lakukan dalam masa 10 tahun ini, kita mungkin akan menjadi spesies-spesies yang innalillah wa inna ilaihi raji'un, yang tidak wujud di planet ini. Ini sesuatu yang sangat susah saya nak sampaikan, tetapi sebagai seorang yang peka dan faham aspek-aspek sains, saya harap mesej ini dapat diterima oleh anda dan ambillah iktibar dan carilah ilmu-ilmu tentang climate change ini, perubahan iklim ini, dan sedikit sebanyak sampaikan berita ini kepada semua. WhatsApp, apa saja yang kita buat ini, sama-sama kita gerakkan satu gerakan untuk menyelamatkan diri kita, keluarga kita, masyarakat kita dan umat Islam sejagat dengan kurniaan Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, perlindungannya, supaya kita sama-sama selamat dalam keadaan yang kritikal ini, insya-Allah.
I'd like to go in very briefly to the ecological stressors that were cited by this second warning, this second notice. First, biodiversity loss, and let me say a bit more about that later. Food systems, our food system is said to be accountable for about a third of all carbon dioxide emissions when you consider how food is grown, how it's transported, how it's refrigerated, how it's wasted, how it's disposed of. About a third of all carbon dioxide emissions.
And just to add to that, actually, the large majority is the fertilizers from the fossil fuel fertilizers, and a lot of people don't actually consider that one.
And those fertilizers have other problems also because they pollute our fresh water. All of these are interrelated. Those fertilizers contribute to marine life depletion and ocean pollution. They create dead zones at the mouths of major rivers where the excess fertilizer washes out. We're destroying our forests at an incredible rate. Both man-made destruction and now nature has taken over. We are toxifying the air that we breathe. I don't call it air pollution because we've become calloused to that notion, air pollution. Well, we all live with air pollution. Air pollution creates lower birth weight babies, and it creates Alzheimer's and dementia in our seniors. So we are toxifying the air we breathe. We are degrading soils around the planet at an incredible rate, losing 30 billion tons of topsoil every year, it's estimated. Population is the elephant in the room. Few, if any, politicians will talk about it. You cannot expect to get reelected on a platform of limitations to population, but as you'll see, it's a major, major problem. Climate change is the big one. It's the tsunami coming at us, and that's why we're here. We have this ritual for the past 25 years of getting together, having a huge carbon footprint, building these temporary buildings, throwing it all away at the end of 2 weeks in an effort to reduce our carbon emissions. Is there something wrong with this picture? And how much have we accomplished in those 25 years? But first, biodiversity loss. The source of this data is the World Wildlife Fund and the UN Environment Program itself. This was a graph that I found, and when I extended it out, extrapolated to 2018 by those same sources, we have seen a 60% loss of the biomass of all vertebrate species. Now, we're not talking about extinctions. We're talking about the loss of the numbers as well as extinctions. Incredible. When you look at the insect population, it's estimated to be about 70 to 75% of all insects have been lost. What does that mean for us? When you consider that insects are the base of the food chain, when you consider that they are the pollinators for many of our crops, we are committing suicide, ecocide. Unfortunately, much of humanity has this view of the problem of biodiversity loss. As long as I have my burgers and McNuggets, what do I care? How many species do I need? This is a bad attitude. It's incorrect mentality, but it is fostered in most industrialized nations. Now, I'm going to skip to population, and I'm going to show just one slide what the human population is estimated to have been and then calculated to have been over the past 10,000 years. Kind of shocking. Now, I know most of us in this room have some concept of that, but my challenge is it even possible to discuss sustainability in this context? And UN sources estimate we are looking at 9 or 10 billion people by mid-century. Already, systems are collapsing. But let's take a look at climate change. Now, I want to show you 4 maps of the Earth. They are drought maps, but I want you to note the scale. The scale is one of relative drought. So the red to purple and pink indicate extremely unusually dry areas. If you take a look at the Sahara, it's green and yellow. That doesn't mean it was moist. It means it was normally dry in the Sahara. The other end of the scale, there are a couple of places that are dark blue where there was more rain, lots more happening than usual. But take a look at the 1/3 point, 2/3 point, and final decade of this century, 2030 through 39, 2060 through 69, and 2090 through 99. But we don't have to go all the way out to the end of the century to see what the problem is. And one of the mistakes that we are making is that we are talking about the year 2100, or we're talking about the year 2050. The effects will be. We will see very drastic consequences much, much sooner than that. We already are seeing drastic consequences because when farms get dry, they wilt. This is the Netherlands in the growing season of this year. Germany's potato crop, grain in Germany, grain in Denmark, and that photograph came from this article online, which cited the figure that 40% of the crop yield was lost this year in Denmark. Same in Sweden. $1 billion losses, many bankruptcies. That was this summer's weather map. When forests get dry, they don't wilt, they burn. This year, early this year, in California, historic fires. In Greece, in Japan, not known for wildfires. In Siberia, not known for wildfires. In Canada, ditto. The UK, this year in Lancashire, not known for wildfires. This was on their moors. Again in California, still smoldering. Incredible loss of life and property, but the property is always mentioned first. Well, I shouldn't say always, but if you take a look, that's what makes headlines. Billions of dollars in loss. You know, that fire is good for the US GDP because all of those buildings have to be replaced. An oil tanker which sinks creates more GDP than one that arrives safely at its destination. Is that perverse? Sweden burning this year. Historic wildfires. Denmark. Now, to understand climate change clearly, I want to show you the heat effect of our past CO2 emissions. They produce this much heat. Estimated 400,000 times per day, 365 days per year. The source of that data is James Hansen when he was working for the US government, head of NASA's Goddard Institute. Leading to this kind of headline, which is now becoming more and more common from Bloomberg Businessweek. New climate debate, how to adapt to the end of the world. Researchers are thinking about social collapse and how to prepare for it. Social collapse and how to prepare for it. We've reached a different stage in our awakening to this problem. Of course, governments still kick the can down the road whenever they can. You'll forgive me, but that's what I see these negotiations about. They are not being conducted in good faith by the parties. Some parties really see the problem, and a lot of parties, they have another master. And we'll get to that one now. My thesis, I teach this every chance I get, is that global civilization has an operating system. I don't know anyone else who teaches about our global operating system. It is seriously, no, disastrously flawed. Our operating system is killing us. Now, what is that operating system? It's known by two common names: money and economics, but not just economics. It's a brand of economics, neoclassical economics, also known as growth economics, also known as mainstream economics. The name neoclassical dropped out of the record about 100 years ago when J.P. Morgan staged what's known as the neoliberal coup at the University of Chicago, and a neoclassical economist was installed as the chair of the economics department. And very soon, nothing was being taught but this kind of economics, which just happens to be the one that benefits bankers the most. 100 years later, it's the only thing we know, and we call it simply economics. We've been hoodwinked. We continue to be hoodwinked. Every day when you hear that word, think neoclassical growth economics, and it puts everything into perspective. Now, let's take a look at money. Money is a virus of the human mind. Money is using humanity as its host for its own reproduction. This is the way it behaves. Now, the first President Bush, President George Herbert Walker Bush, was known to have said, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it is a duck. I think he borrowed that from somebody. If money looks and behaves like that, can it be far from that? Now, money is turning the natural world into more money as fast as it possibly can. It's turning this into this with utmost speed. The strangest part is that money prevents most of us from even seeing that as a problem. In mainstream economics, nature is an externality. This is what's taught in most business schools. It doesn't matter that we are destroying nature. In fact, the gentleman who won this year's fake economics prize, Nobel Economics Prize, it's not a real Nobel Prize. It was financed by the Central Bank of Sweden in 1968, and they made it a Nobel Prize. This year's winner said, climate change doesn't really matter because agriculture is only 2% of our global GDP. So if agriculture is harmed, it won't harm our GDP much. Excuse me? Won't harm our GDP much? What are we going to eat? Money? The Sustainable Development Goals, I will attack them. I will attack one of them. There are only 16 and a half of them there. Number 8 is a piker in American English. Decent work, yes. Economic growth, no. Now, it's worded economic growth in developing nations, yes, but only if developed nations will slow down their growth. And do you think any developed nation is willing to do that? Hey, if they can grow, why can't we? Again, is that the platform you want to get reelected on? We're going to slow growth so that they can grow in the least developed nations? From the poorest to the richest, money owns us, not the other way around. Now, I'm going to very quickly cover